This is Beyond the Bench with Nick Morgasen and Nick Fodera. A look at sports and pop culture from beyond common sense. The show that constantly goes off the rails and might never get back on. When you don't belong, you're a bench warmer. On this show, there's no riding the bench. This is Beyond the Bench on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Beyond the Bench on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. I'm Nick Morgasen. Yes, no Nick Fodera this week. I'm solo. Yes, you're going to have to deal with that, unfortunately. Follow us on social media at Beyond the Bench 1 on Twitter, on Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Bench 1, and on Instagram, which we finally got on, Instagram.com/Beyond the Bench 1 with a misspelling. That's great. But anyway, we have a great episode for you. We have some great guests because Nick Fodera couldn't make it. We had a new show, and actually, I should say this as well. Follow the Empty the Bench Podcast Network at ETB Network as well. And speaking of the Empty the Bench Podcast Network, we have some great guests. It's a new show we just debuted called The Big Bad Broadcast. And if you like comedy, you will like these guys. This is 3/5 of the podcast, and we will bring them in right now. So John Ferrentino.
Hey, how you doing?
Mike Reed.
Oh, where
and Craig Mitchell's passed out.
All right.
Craig will be here in a second.
Greg will be here. He's on his
It's a pretty amazing opening you have with funeral music.
Yeah. By the way, let me just ask you, it's Empty the Bench, Beyond the Bench. Nick, did somebody hurt you on a bench?
No, that was Rudy Giuliani's job to hurt me.
Why is your symbol the B from the Boston Bruins? I'm just curious.
You might want to put your camera on, Craig. I don't know. I'm not saying you don't look good now, but
Craig, where are you?
I don't know. Why? Where are you?
We can't see you. Your camera isn't on.
Yes, it is.
Open the door.
Maybe he's gonna come in. There he is.
There he is.
What?
But
I love it. He's got a futuristic Star Trek thing and everything like that, but he's lagging.
Yeah,
He's the guy that does our technical work.
He's our IT guy.
He does our technical work. That's why nobody's heard of the Big Bad Broadcast.
You know, I just want to say one.
Never been more brilliant.
Even though we can't be understood.
Let's go on with the show as if Craig isn't here.
Let's go on with the show. But
he isn't frozen. I actually thought he was frozen. He got me.
He was frozen.
Let's talk about the show first. So let's talk about the Big Bad Broadcast, how we came to be. You want to? John, I'll let you start. Let's talk about the show. Tell everybody about the show.
So the Big Bad Broadcast is a show with 4 comedian friends that we started during the pandemic, and we've had a few changes since. And but now we got a group that fits together. It's myself. I did the comedy clubs for years as a comedy magician. And then I had my lifelong friend, Joe Silkey, who when I was on TV, he sort of wrote stuff for me because I ran out of stuff quickly. And he's a brilliant mind in magic. I mean, he's like a magic historian. And then I ran a show called Don't Quit Your Day Job. And I met Mike Grief, who
was the bouncer.
No, he was a biker comedian and very, very funny, who I always claim had the greatest opening line of all times. He would walk up there, he'd pick me up, lift me off the stage, and take a hike, Magic Boy. and then would look at the audience and just stand there and get visibly more pissed off as the minutes went on and not say anything, and then looks into the audience, steps to the microphone and goes, "You ever be beating the shit out of somebody and halfway through you forget why?" Which to me is the most brilliant opening line ever. And I met Craig. Craig was also a comedian on Long Island, and we became friends. And then we have guests on our show. We've had Tommy Chong. We have Michael Carbonaro. We had
Billy Gardell. We've had Jimmy Labriola, Clint Howard, and
so
many celebrities.
And we had Jan Karam on. And Jan Karam's great comedian, female comedian, did the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson many times. She did it with Letterman. She's been on Curb Your Enthusiasm. She's been on Seinfeld.
She did it with Letterman, so we figured she'd do it with us.
Well, so we had her on as a guest. And as soon as the show was over, we all went, wow, she would be perfect on this show. It was just so easy. And the chemistry was there. So they were like, you got to call her. So I called her, and she said, yeah, I'd love to do it. So we added her to the show, and it's just been really fun. I mean, the show is finally the way we want it. Everyone gets, lots of times we don't even have guests, and we just talk among ourselves, and we never know where it's going to go. We always put out a game plan, but that's usually we rarely follow it.
Well,
and Craig actually is really great. He puts the whole show together. He does the editing. He's the guy behind the scenes. We send him our crap during the week, and he always puts it in order for the show.
But he does my shirt so nice.
And
that's what you made it sound like. We send him our crap for the week.
Craig, you be nice for a minute.
Craig, you forgot the refried beans. No, but that's what you made it sound like. We send him our crap for the week. Like I said,
no, but I'm just saying, it's like
you guys have to know this is all in fun. I've been good friends with Mike forever. I've been friends with John since I met him in a Macy's bathroom. It's all the way it goes.
Absolutely.
It's the way it is.
You said you never mentioned that glory hole.
When I say we send him our crap, what I meant is we're always on the search of funny pictures or video clips. So we send them to him, and he puts them in the library. Then when we have our production meeting, he goes, "All right, this is what you sent us."
No, it's
he puts
true.
it in order, and
he does a lot more work than we do.
Notice nothing about the comedy. Nothing.
I said I met you as a comedian. I met you.
Well, you had your tongue up Mike's ass for 20 minutes, and comedian.
I met him in the club. He was the guy. He dusted off the stairs that we would walk up to get to the stage. Because I was
giving you the big production intro. I actually gave you more time than I gave Mike.
Greg used to hold my cape as I went onto the stage.
Well,
you said?
before we get to Mike, I think I properly planned this. The show is sponsored by Knack as well. I know Mike loves when I do this every single time. So the show is presented by Knack. Make sure you go check out knackbags.com. Make sure you use the code BEYOND. Yes, Big Bad Broadcast will have their own starting in May. So yes, that was announced. But yes, go to knackbags.com. Check out
of me traveling with it if they get it to me on time, because I'm going to be taking a trip soon.
Yeah. So like I said, BEYOND, get a TSA-approved lock for $15 value for free. All right, go ahead, Mike.
You know that you got to get you got to get one
when you do that.
You got to give one to Mike, because Mike is an influencer, a fashion influencer.
Well, let me ask one question: How many heads can I fit in that duffel bag? I mean, is it
as many as you want? I guess. However many it takes.
It depends, Mike. Are they adults or are they not adults? Then
it doesn't matter. I melt them down.
Oh, jeez. Oh my God. How much is a human head weigh, Jerry?
It's a Jerry Maguire reference.
Well, all right. Should we get started? Because I picked some funny stories off the bat that I knew you guys could go off the rails with.
We didn't start yet?
Well, kind of. We were kind of let the audience know who you are.
Oh.
But, all right, here we go. I thought you would love this story right off the bat. Elon Musk reaches agreement to acquire Twitter for $44 billion. Now, I'm not surprised, because he's like the fucking richest guy on the planet. But
so like I posted today, if Elon Musk really wanted to help America, he should buy Fox News and close it down.
I can think of 44 billion other things I would buy before Twitter.
Yeah. Is Twitter going to be self-driving now?
That would be great if it was.
Yeah, it'll probably crash a lot, just like the Teslas.
I'll tell you what's interesting is, that he's not going to reinstate Trump, because Trump already this morning said, I will not go on Twitter even when Elon Musk asks.
Oh, he will. He will go on.
Well, wait a minute. Does anyone find it ironic that he runs a social media platform called Truth Social?
Yeah, and it crashes every day. And
they left the first part off. It's really called What's the Truth Social. I don't know the Truth Social.
Actually,
I met the truth once, and I didn't get along with it, so I don't hang out with it anymore. So
actually, it's the last part they left off with: truth, social disease.
Yeah.
I actually did some research on this for our show because I know we don't do anything political, but I wanted to see what was going on. So apparently, he doesn't post on it at all. Nobody posts on it because they can't get on, and it's all like commercials for his scams. Donate for this, donate for that. You know,
sounds like somebody else. Sounds like Mike Lindell's social media platform.
Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell. I want to smother that.
Lindell.
I want to smother him with my pillow.
I want to get him on the show.
You want to get him on the show?
I would laugh hysterically if you got him on the show.
He'd be like rain guest.
But every time he's on
Trump.
But anytime he's on any show, I can't believe he does these shows because people just go, "You're so full of shit," and he goes, "Oh yeah, you know." And it's like, you know, he wouldn't stand a chance with you guys.
Yeah, because what you don't see is he's got the crack pipe, on the side. Like, he takes a couple of hits and he's, oh man, yeah, no, they're cheating Trump. But hold on a second.
Now he has my slippers. He has my slippers now.
Yeah, he has my slippers. Yep.
I'm waiting for my hemorrhoid pillow.
Should be my jail next.
These people are like John Gotti. They never go to jail.
Yeah.
I have to tell you a quick story, actually. When I was still working in, unfortunately, right-wing political radio.
What?
Yeah, it wasn't my choice. It was the only way I could get in the radio business.
Okay.
And I was working for a nationally syndicated program, and I was trying to book Lindell for the show. That's when his book was coming out, and that whole nonsense. Well, I found religion. I'm not a drug addict anymore, and this and that, and the whole 9 yards. And I'm dealing with his PR person, and they're being a pain, and they're asking for 6 or 7 different times, and I'm like, you know what? It's probably better if I keep him off the show at this point.
Yeah. I feel bad for his employees because he must have really damaged his business. I can't see.
He has 2-for-1 sale now. He's having a 2-for-1 sale.
He really had a hard time with the drugs, to be perfectly honest, because he's only.
It's hard to find where he lives. Yeah, he's only 29.
Yeah, you should all over that punchline.
But
you got to be a little quicker, Craig.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I had 3 seconds to myself. I apologize.
Yeah, you're lagging still.
Well,
you are the big palooka. You are a big bully.
I think he froze again.
Or he's either that or he's faking it.
But I was going to say, when I was and I have no problem saying where I worked at a 77 WABC in the city.
Right.
And all they would do is run his ads. Like, he must have paid a fortune for ads on there. And I'd be like, again, annoying. It's like the Cars for Kids commercial that I have to hear a million times.
Thanks. Now that's stuck in my head.
That's what they have to black. Like, if you were ever in a hostage situation, they could play that to get you out of the building.
Oh,
but I used to work overnight shifts when I started, and every other break was that commercial. And I used to be like, all right, like, can someone shoot me already? I don't need this anymore. Put me out of my misery. How many times I have to hear that commercial? It was either that or it was sex pills. It was one of those two on the overnight.
Oh, God. I love that. It's like
you put together, you have a fucking felony.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love it. They can't cure cancer, but fucking one executive can't get a hard on. I got 4 pills to cure erection dysfunction. You know?
Well, the funny part about those pills that I discussed with my doctor, we're friends. No, we're friends.
We're friends.
No, basically,
I just discussed them for a buddy of mine who can't.
No. I'm not saying
Johnson.
that. Believe what we were talking about about blood pressure. Those pills were originally made for blood pressure. That's a side effect.
Right, exactly. I heard that.
It's a side effect.
Side effect.
We were talking about, remember like a couple of weeks ago, my blood pressure was going all over the place. Yeah. And he said to me, he goes, it's really weird. You barely got a side effect. And he started telling me that the side effect from Viagra and Senfel and all that stuff was people would get hard-ons.
Well, what was it? It was meant to raise your blood pressure?
Yes, exactly. It was.
Lower your blood pressure.
I mean, lower it, not raise it. Lower it.
So it's lowering my blood pressure, but it's raising my...
Yeah, exactly.
You sure Trump didn't use it?
Yeah, they give you those on the cruise
He couldn't
ship.
get it up with an elaborate pulley system. Come on, what are you talking about?
If you get really sunburned on the cruise ship, they give you Viagra.
Really?
Yeah, it keeps the sheets off your legs.
But all right, let's circle back.
Oh, I asked the guy, I said, hey, can I get this over the counter? Can I get it over the counter? He said, yeah, take 2.
But what do we think about the deal with Musk? Yes, no, maybe. Do you think he makes it better?
He's cool. I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
He's buying
Everybody's
everything.
everybody's afraid that it's going to become a right-wing playground.
He's not right-wing at all.
Yeah, but he's talking about this freedom. It's all freedom of speech stuff. There's one side that doesn't really need to have, keep saying about freedom of speech because the things we say aren't incendiary. The only people that really keep harping about freedom are the people that saying things that are, bullshit, lies, So what it's going to become? It's going to become a platform for, right-wing assholes.
I'm just watching you talk and realizing that underneath that crazy look, you really are pretty smart. You actually make sense.
I mean, it is true because when being at the radio station, I had to do some of the social media and some of the stuff they would put out. I'd be like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You can't put this shit out." They did it anyway, and they still do it. Even I still see what goes on over there. And my favorite is, I'm sure you've seen this on both sides of the aisle. Oh, we're right down the middle. We tell both sides of the issue. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah. It's like Fox is fair and balanced.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, the truth is that there is no fair and balanced. I mean, and it is what it is. Look, CNN, yes, they're telling the truth, maybe the facts of the story, but they are telling it very opinionated. I think that's what pisses people off. And Fox just, they'll out and out lie, although they do have a couple of people that tell the truth now and then, I think.
I don't think so.
We need Walter Cronkite to come back from the dead and just give us the friggin' news.
Well, that's what everyone's trying to do. They keep promoting these new shows that are just going to be the news, but...
Yeah, don't take a side, just give us the news.
And the other thing, too, it's like the news cycle is so bizarre. I mean, right now, the war in Ukraine is a tragedy. And, people, it's terrible. But there's other news going on in the world.
It's almost like people forgot that there was other news in the world.
Yeah, there's other news going on in the world. Like, I want to hear more about Trump having to pay $10,000 a day for not.
That was funny. That was funny. I can't.
I want to see what happened with the Marjorie Green Taylor case.
I want to hear more about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard taking a crap in his bed.
Well, I have to tell you. Well, now that you brought her name up, I had to deal with her calling into the radio station.
What?
Oh,
really?
yeah. Oh, yeah. I dealt with her. I dealt with Ted Cruz. I've dealt with them all. And
I just want to hear more about the Kardashians.
Oh, we'll get to that. But
I was just kidding.
We'll get to that. But
that was one of the stories.
Ted Cruz was literally trying to play the straight man on the phone. Like literally, like he did. Hey, how you doing today? How's everything going? Like he was kissing babies on the phone. Like,
man, he's not even straight at home. Who the hell's he lying to?
Yeah, I know.
Straight man.
And I was like, and I just said, I'm not interested, and I just put him on hold. I was just I was like, all right, yeah. He was calling into the morning show because I was working the morning show that week. I was like, whatever.
I have a little more respect for you. You put Ted Cruz on hold.
I would have hung up on him, but still.
I'd have left him there with Muzak for like 2 hours, man. He'll never be the same.
Cars for Kids. You should have
Jeopardy thing, or the Cars for Kids, or the Jeopardy thing.
But
did you see the Jeffersons?
What?
Mike, did you see the Jeffersons?
No, I said the Jeopardy. Jeopardy.
Oh, I think
I would have left him there for like 2 hours.
I've dealt with them all. I dealt with what's her name, who's now on MSNBC, who they just picked up from Trump's. I can't remember her name. She was the second.
Kelly McEnany.
Yeah, I dealt with her many times.
Oh, she's terrible too.
Who's that?
And McEnany.
She was the news advisor Barbie.
Essentially, she basically put out all the fires.
God,
essentially,
she was just such a lie.
She put out more than fires. She put out.
That's true.
But any question, she twists every question.
It was bad because I executive produced Judge Jeanine Pirro's show on the weekend.
Oh, how do you live with yourself?
Winner.
How do you live with yourself, Nick?
It wasn't my choice. They just said, "Hey, we need someone who's more experienced to work," and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll put up with it. It was that and Rudy.
The main producing job for her was keeping the wine glass full, probably, right?
Yes. That was probably one of the funniest moments on television anyway. But yeah, like I had to do Rudy, I had to do Janine, and doing those two shows made me want to take up drinking after working them. But I don't know. I think this could be good. I hope he puts an edit button in because every other social media platform has it, and Twitter's the only one that doesn't. But
well, we'll see, man. I never liked Musk as a cologne, and I'm not sure I like Musk as a person.
The way I look at it, Twitter has one more character now. Thank you.
What I like about it is my property values have gone up about $80,000 since he started SpaceX.
Well, look at Twitter. I think Twitter doubled or whatever in price since he bought it, at least from what I saw. But all right, we'll move on from Twitter. And speaking of assholes, I don't know if most people know who this person is.
Oh, fuck yes.
But her name, I can never pronounce her real name. I think it's Bhad Bhabie. I think is how you pronounce it. But her
Cash Me Outside.
It's the Cash Me Outside girl. Yes.
I saw that episode of Dr. Phil, and I wanted to do something illegal. I wanted to just never mind.
I don't know who she is. So.
She's a rap artist, right? That started her fans only page.
Mm-hmm.
She was a troubled person first, and then of course, and this is what I have to say about her.
I hate you. Get the out of here.
Is what I have to say, and because Dr. Phil totally handled that whole situation wrong in every way, shape, or form.
No kidding. He made her a star, man. He made her a star. He launched.
He's not even a doctor.
He's not a doctor. He doesn't have a doctorate degree.
Wait, Dr. Phil's not a doctor?
No, hell no.
So anyone can just call him. You know what? From now on, I'm Dr. Grief. Call me Dr. Grief.
Mike, neither is Dr. Pepper. I hate to break it to you.
Craig, don't mess with me, man. I go to Dr. Pepper for all my medical stuff.
But I just found this hilarious that her going on a show, having a troubled past, now she bought a mansion for $52 million in cash on OnlyFans because of OnlyFans.
I want to go on Dr. Phil and just curse him out now. Seriously, that's what I want to do.
Oh,
wait a minute. So I did the research on this, but it was pretty incomplete, the link that I got. So I don't know the backstory. I just know that she started this fans only page for videos and music, and she gets like $24.95 a month. And then people send her tips on top of it.
Well, what's wrong?
What happened? How did she get to that point? What is this Dr. Phil thing?
So, first of all, in case people who don't know OnlyFans is basically a paid porn site. First of all, basically it's for those type of workers, and basically you set up an account and you basically say, "I'm going to put up obscure photos or obscure videos of your body doing weird sexual acts." That's
hold on. This is me pretending I don't know what OnlyFans are.
I did know. I thought it was a music. I thought it was a music thing.
No.
Far from it.
I have several friends on it actually,
because they were talking about her being a rapper, and her music. She says in the thing that she puts videos and music videos.
So I don't understand. So she's an entrepreneur. She made a lot of money. What did she do that's controversial?
When she was on Dr. Phil, she was on as a troubled 14 or 15-year-old teen, and she was being obnoxious, and she was talking like ghetto, and her mother was complaining, and Dr. Phil was there, and the audience actually laughed at her, and she turned to the audience, yeah, cash me outside, and that became like her slogan, and she got really popular on that show. She started a website after she got off the show, and she's blown up, and she became a rap star.
Well,
good for her, man.
It first started with appearance fees. So she would appear at different clubs and venues, and she would do weird appearance things. She wasn't a rapper or anything yet.
Well, come on, to be honest. So did Paris Hilton. All of them, they get paid to go to clubs, and then the club can say, "Oh, Paris Hilton," and then that's what. And at least here in Hollywood, I don't know about anywhere else.
Apparently she DJs now, which I think is kind of fucked up, but that's how she makes her appearance fees now.
Another moron gets made rich for being a moron by other morons who pay to see her. That's what this is all about.
I mean, she could think.
And I'm totally jealous because.
She can thank her father for owning the hotel business.
Come on, the guys from Jackass let horses kick them in the balls. I mean,
I respect that a lot more. I really do.
Do you know that on Jackass, right? Johnny Knoxville owned the whole Jackass thing and only paid those guys like $75 to $100 per stunt.
I heard about that. Yeah,
that is insane.
On the show,
those
probably,
guys,
not the movie.
Yeah.
I saw just a clip the other day of one of those guys. I forget his name. He's a crazy one though, but he put a fish hook through his mouth.
Sounds like Steve-O.
I think it was Steve-O. I'm like, you got paid 75. Well, I mean, obviously they're doing it.
Now it's different. Now
they're totally famous from it, but
now they all said to them, "Look, we split this equally." But it was Johnny Knoxville's idea, and it was his baby, and he paid these guys $100 to get a bowling ball in the testicles, and and stuff like that.
You know one that stapled his balls or no?
What's that?
I think was it Steve-O? One of them stapled their balls to the side of their leg as one of the stunts.
Oh.
I'm not even kidding.
No, I don't know if it was one of the Jackass guys, but I saw a clip of somebody. I think the guy put either a staple or a nail to the head of his.
Now, I do that for fun. That's
I mean, even Christ had to draw the line somewhere. Come on.
Oh man.
God.
Do the hands and feet. Stay away from it.
We are now truthfully beyond the
Johnny Knoxville is the coolest person in the world, though. He's crazy.
He's
got the greatest laugh though in the world. You remember the thing on the miniature golf course where you'd hit the ball and go around and come out the other side like a loop-de-loop? Mm-hmm. So they built one for skateboarding. Oh, and there's this guy called Wheels in the wheelchair, and he does all this crazy stuff. And he went around that thing and he got up to the top and fell straight down on his head. Oh. And he was just laying there. Johnny Knoxville walks up and goes, "Dude, you hit so hard you probably can walk." And the guy just started laughing.
I thought Johnny Knoxville was great, and nobody likes this movie, but I'm going to say it. I thought he was great in the Dukes of Hazzard movie. He was terrific.
He's good in everything. He's a likable guy. Do you ever see the one where he's in the rodeo and he's got roller skates on? Where they let the bulls out?
Yes.
And he stands there and he's going, "Never roller skate in a buffalo path." And they just let the bull out and it just gorges him and throws him up in the air.
It's all part of the reason why the world is so irreverent. Like that joke I just made before. It's like, you get, pardon the fun, but you get crucified for stuff like that in the past. Today, it goes in one ear, out the other. There's nothing shocking anymore. So that's, you have to nail your nuts to a 2x4 to get people to notice you.
Unless you mention Jada Smith.
Yeah, well,
Jada Smith did say yesterday that she's now healing. Oh man,
she's a fucking cheater. Give me a break.
I was worried about her healing. I know because she screws.
My family's healing.
Yeah,
I've been up.
By the way, did any of you think that was fake or no?
No.
I'm just curious.
No.
I thought it was real.
No,
I honestly thought it was a setup without Chris Rock's knowledge. I think that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett had something. They were up to something that day earlier. They were making videos about they were going to get into some chaos. They were going to do something. So I just think this was what.
Yeah, I don't think Chris Rock knew anything.
But Chris Rock was. It doesn't seem like he was.
Chris Rock was going to play along, man. He was leaning into it. He goes, "Okay, Will's going to pretend to slap me."
Yeah,
that's what he was doing. And then he got.
You watch his arms, like he leans over and his arms are crossed behind his back too. That was kind of weird.
He's going to play it, and
there's no way.
I don't think it was fake. I just think there was some weird mannerisms that were done within it. That maybe he was...
Also, another reason I think it was a setup too is Will Smith's a big dude. There's no two ways around that. He's a big, powerful guy. Chris Rock's a little guy. If you slap a guy like that, I mean, the fact that Chris Rock was still standing after the slap and didn't even cry out in pain or anything like that tells me. I mean, obviously Will Smith pulled that slap a lot.
He did. He pulled it.
So he was aware, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. Look, I think it was real from Chris Rock's point of view, but I think Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith had something. They were setting something up.
I don't know. I
think the funny thing is that the Academy has banned him from getting screeners.
Oh, I didn't know. I just knew he was banned from going.
He gets to have screeners. He can't
John,
vote.
Now he's got to pay to see those movies. Come on,
I know.
Man.
Oh, like he can't afford it.
It's just. I thought that was one of the funniest things. It said he's not allowed to vote in the Academy Awards for 10 years, and he will not receive screeners.
But I thought,
ooh, what a punishment!
I thought it was full of shit though that he got up like an hour later and cried when he received the award. Though
he cried after he won the Best Actor award.
You know what? And the honestly, came out of it, and the Hare Krishnas don't go up to his door anymore.
He should have been suspended from voting after he wrote himself in for the movie After Earth. So
I thought it was really wrong that he was at all those parties dancing and being an
afterwards.
idiot.
Yeah,
afterwards,
like real remorse. Bullshit.
You know.
I just find it funny that Chris Rock is not like leaning in on it and like milking it. Like he could.
He will.
He's like, I'm not fucking talking about this. Come on.
He came out at his concert and said, listen, I already put together a whole show for this. Maybe the next show we'll talk about it.
How do you got to stop that? I mean, you guys would know this better than I would. You would stop if something major happened, right? Even if you had a full set.
I don't know.
What do you mean? You mean if somebody came up to me on stage and did something like that?
No, I just mean in general. Say like a major story happens and it's like major. It's a trending story. Everyone wants to hear.
Well, if you're on the stage, you won't know about it.
Oh no, I meant before. Like if say you have a full set and then like a major story like that happens before you get on stage, would you change the set?
Well, he addresses it. You know, he goes, I don't think.
I wouldn't because. And here's the facts of it. I wouldn't because people came and they paid to see me.
Right.
They paid to see my act. They paid. So, it's like for the next God knows how long, everyone's going to be talking about that. But for this show, they paid to see my grief, which, happens.
With the exception of like, say I'm doing my act and I get heckled. I might go, keep on heckling. I'll send Will Smith after you. That's the only thing I would probably do. Something like that. I wouldn't have a bit ready to go though.
So no, I wouldn't be.
I think it's classier not to address it.
Well, I always stayed away from stuff. What do you call it? Topical material, because topical material comes and goes. I can write the most brilliant stuff, and then there's going to be 50 other guys who've written something similar anyway, and then it's gone next week, and so I've wasted all this time. I write stuff. My stuff's all character driven, so.
Well, there was a bunch of wild animals, and I say that pun intended, just because a bunch of people got arrested outside the theater, didn't they? If I remember correctly, in Boston, when his first show, like people were getting arrested because like they were doing weird things outside the theater, like security had to be buffed up. I think really? Also, yeah.
I never heard of that. I didn't hear that.
Because like people were looking to attack and do things, and I was like, "What the hell is going on outside this theater?" And I was just, I don't know. I think he could have addressed it a little better, maybe, instead of just saying, like, fuck this, I'm not talking about this right now. Like, I don't know. But
no, maybe
thing.
In shock. He didn't know what to think about it or say about it. He was probably still deciding whether or not he was going to sue him.
Yeah, he can do a civil suit.
So the more he talks about it, if he starts talking about it, then he might be saying something that can be used against him if he does.
Talking about crazy fights. What kind of maniac starts a fight with Mike Tyson on a plane?
Oh God, that was hilarious.
What are you thinking? What?
Mike Tyson had it coming. He took his shoes off. That's it. I'd have to go after him.
I think you got to look at it like the guy figured I'd get punched in the face and make $1 million.
That's what I was thinking. He's probably thinking I'm going to make a bag. Let me go after him and see if he'll punch me. And he literally did punch him.
But here's the question, though. If you push somebody to a certain point, I guess it has to be to the point where you're worried about your safety. Like if I was Mike Tyson, you could say, but when is the point where if you're doing like didn't he throw water at him? He did a lot of things. I mean, what's the point when I can punch you in the face without worrying about losing a lawsuit?
I think the point is when you've been the heavyweight champion a few times, you don't have that right anymore.
Well, he did also throw something at him. I think he threw a bottle at him also at one point.
Yeah.
The passenger?
The passenger threw it at him, and that's when he got up and started wailing on him.
Yeah, I mean, I would have beat the shit out of the guy too, like famous or not. It's like, you know what? There has to be a point where it's like, you know what? It's justified. Where any reasonable human being would go, that enough is enough. I'm just going to beat you until your fucking face looks like a bad steak,
Right, but you have a criminal record for beating people up and threatening to eat. And you're also the same guy who threatened to eat someone's children on TV.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, listen, he took a bite out of Evander's ear, but
Right.
to be honest, Evander, he's delicious. How are you not going to bite Evander Holyfield? Anyone will tell you he's delicious.
So, is there any truth to the rumor that they're changing the name of the airlines to Jet Black and Blue? Is that happening?
All right, I need to move this one on. All right. Speaking of animals, which I brought up before, I don't know if you guys have seen this in the NBA playoffs at all, but some of the games, there's been animal rights protests, and these women, some men also, like they're tying themselves to the stanchion of the baskets, and they're literally
handcuffed. It's all women. It's all women.
Is it all women? Okay, I didn't know if there were. I thought there
one
were
woman.
It's all women and effeminate men.
The one woman super glued her hand to the court.
Yes,
I didn't see that one. I just saw the stanchions that they tied.
Yeah, super glued her hand to the court.
Is that like one of those videos?
That's a commitment.
Where the chick is stuck in the washing machine or the dryer? Is it kind of like that?
No. This first when I read the headline, I thought they were. But it said I thought they were protesting against Timberwolves.
Timberwolves, right?
What are they?
They're
what are
not
they protesting?
The owner of the team, owns an egg factory like chickens, and like they call it an egg factory. He has more because they make like eggs for restaurants, like all big egg products.
Right.
And what he did was there's avian flu going around. So he basically killed all his chickens. And what he did was he sealed up all the coops, put a gas in there, and turned off the heat and the air conditioning.
Oh,
so
wow.
Peter's saying that it was an inhumane way for him to kill the chickens.
Wow. I have to tell you, I can tell you someone who's a chicken also that's an owner of the franchise, Alex Rodriguez.
Right.
Really? By the way, John, you missed one part. They closed off the coop, they put in the gas, and they played Cars for Kids. That's why they think it was.
Right.
Yeah. The chickens were like, come on, the gas isn't working fast enough.
I mean, it's, I don't know.
I mean, he was saying, look, he goes, I don't want to spread the disease. Well, I don't know.
If the chickens had the bird flu and it spreads rapidly, yeah, I mean, it sounds
the rest of your.
It's not exact. I don't think these chickens live a humane life to begin with. I think probably killing them most of the time is a mercy.
I have to tell you a quick story also, which I don't know. I have a lot of stories today for some reason, but when I went to Nassau Community College,
oh no.
We all went there.
Yeah.
And
a high school with ashtrays.
I still have my diploma. I keep in my window as a handicap parking sticker.
Well, now I feel good. I'm the only guy who didn't go to community college.
Well, I did eventually graduate with an honors degree, but
there you go.
But eventually, so I was walking around on campus one day, and the animal rights and PETA were all over the campus, blocking all the pathways, because I don't know if you remember, like you have to walk down to get through some of the areas there. Yeah. And of course, my one class is down essentially underground, and they're blocking the one pathway that I need to get there. And they're all holding up signs, and they're trying to force us to take pamphlets and all this stuff. And I'm like, get the fuck out of the way. I'm going to be late for a fucking class.
So, I mean, what you do is you grab a pamphlet, you pretend, then you go on their side and you start shouting stuff, whatever they're shouting, and then you work your way through the crowd and you go through.
That's
these were big people though. Like they were blocking the pathways.
What were they protesting?
I think it was again chicken and eggs and all that stuff. That's why I was bringing it up. And it was inhumane and all this crap and other animals and
it's so funny.
I would take them all out for an omelet. That's what I would do.
Yeah, it's so funny. My girlfriend the other day goes to this whole thing. I have to buy these organic, free-range chickens, and you got to buy these eggs. They're organic, they're free-range. This is what we got to buy. So I get them. I open them up. There's 3 layers of plastic.
Oh,
it's plastic, then the eggs, and then a piece that folds over that to keep the eggs from breaking, and another piece of plastic that goes over that.
I don't know.
I think plastic is more of a problem than chicken eggs.
I was going to say, aren't we complaining about bags in supermarkets, and now we're paying 5 to 10 cents extra for it just because of that reason?
Still have them. They just got to pay for them now. It's all a scam.
Actually, the only company that does it for free, I think, is Trader Joe's at this point. They give them away for free. At least from what I know.
think they give you paper, right?
Or paper, yeah. But
That's what I heard Mike Lindell's going into now. He's going to start making paper bags and condoms.
he should make
my bags.
He should make my paper.
My bag. Yeah, Mike.
He should make paper
It's
condoms for the gym.
My bag. That's what he's making. My bag.
Your penis will never feel better than when you wear my bag.
I thought my paper. I thought he was gonna start rolling paper. But anyway,
you should.
So animal right. I mean, they're crazy. Everyone, not everyone, but you hear a lot about people. I'm not. And they say it's true. If you see the way that some of these animals are slaughtered, you wouldn't eat animals.
I mean, I support the Sea Shepherds, which are like an activist group. I mean, Japan has, there's a big no whaling thing up in like Norway. It's a restricted area where whales can reappropriate so they don't go extinct. And these Japanese whalers go through the area with ships, and they take like 80 whales each ship, and they have big signs they're walking around. This is for research. This is a research vessel.
Yeah.
And it's
we're researching how this whale tastes with soy sauce.
Right. And these Sea Shepherd guys, man, let me tell you, the leader of the Sea Shepherds is a guy that got thrown out of Greenpeace for being too of a crazy man. And he's not allowed to go to land. So he lives at sea because any place he goes, he's going to get arrested. So he stays out at sea. Yeah, he stays out at sea. He's been at sea now for 2 years. And you see the stuff they do. They drop in big ropes that foul up their props. They board their ships. They do everything. And it's pretty amazing. Well, I wanted to sign up and go. And they're the guys that found that cove where they slaughter all the dolphins.
Well, that's what's ridiculous. Anybody in any industry is smart enough to know that you got to preserve your living, and if preserving the whales means that there'll be more whales, so that whatever, if the Japanese aren't doing that, then good. Let the guy foul up their price. I mean, they deserve it.
There's a place in Japan called Taipei where it's a big cove, and all these Japanese boats go out and they take metal rods and put them in the water during the dolphin migration. And they bang these pipes and scare all the dolphins into this cove. I mean, we're talking like thousands of them.
Wow.
Then they run a net across, and then they jump in their boats and just kill them.
Wow.
It's crazy. And they eat dolphin in Japan. Yeah. Dolphin
there's nothing the Japanese won't eat.
But, but it's funny because dolphins contain so much mercury. Now I sound educated, don't I? They contain so much mercury that's the last thing you would feed a kid.
Yeah, and you can take your temperature with a dolphin. Hold still while I shove the dolphin up your ass.
That's why they have a bottle nose.
And and that's what they feed all the Japanese kids in school. Dolphin.
I guess you could say, though, to put a bow on this story, the NBA stands for nothing but assholes. Because
you waited the whole time to say that, didn't you, Nick? You were waiting on that
one. Oh, no, I've used that joke forever. I use that on my sports show. But because I can't stand certain things that go on. Well, actually, I'm more pissed at baseball.
And you know what Jets means, right? Just end the season.
Yes.
End the suffering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I hate the Dolphins.
Because they make you cry. You hate the Dolphins because they make you cry?
Because they're the
Hootie and the Blowfish reference?
All right, let's move on. Craig can maybe shed a little more of a baseball story here. Trevor Bauer sues sexual assault accuser, claims woman wanted to destroy his career. Now, we've talked about this for a couple weeks. We actually did an interview with somebody out of NBCLA who really gave us the insight on this story. I'm kind of done with Trevor Bauer. I wish he would just go away and never play baseball again.
Well, he wasn't convicted. How can you say never play baseball again?
Because there's clearly marks on the woman.
The woman's face looks like she ran in.
Well, why wasn't
he convicted? 50-yard dash in a 30-yard gym.
Do you think because he's rich, he got favor in the decision? I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely. I think he got favor. All celebrities get favor in the court of law. It's more like the court of public opinion, but court of law.
OJ didn't.
Look, wasn't there a guy He raped
OJ
the woman.
didn't.
This guy raped a woman outside of a by a dumpster or something like that, and the judge said, he gave him some really light sentence because he didn't want to ruin his career.
Right, that's what they do.
But the thing, he's not going to pitch again in the major leagues anyway because it's no woman, no decent person
in prison
will pay for it. You know,
he shouldn't be pitching. He should be receiving in prison.
He should become a football.
Nice catching.
He should become a football player.
I don't know. This story, and they keep extending his administrative leave. That's the term they're using instead of suspension. Let's just keep extending his administrative leave. Just say he's banned for the season and just call it a season for him.
Well, her picture looks pretty beat up too, and he says it's photoshopped or something.
There's no way that's.
Didn't he admit though? He also admitted to rough sex.
Yes,
right.
So I mean, come on. I mean, what is whatever? I mean, I guess any sex for me is rough sex because but hey, it's rough, okay.
It's rough sex.
I mean, I don't know. I try to read all the different reports, and he keeps saying,
wouldn't be as rough. It wouldn't be as rough if I used some hand lotion, but.
I'm just really glad that the Mets didn't sign him. They were so close.
You would have been stuck on the hill for $40 million a year with him.
It would have been a disaster. And I'm just glad that he played the Mets to get signed by the Dodgers, and it worked out well for me. Even though I'm in LA, most people don't even know who he is anymore. They don't care because the Dodgers are winning.
You're stuck with an owner that's constantly committing fraud in the financial market. It's okay.
Who's that now?
What, Steve Cohen?
Oh, I cannot confirm or deny that. I'm sorry. Next caller, please.
I don't know. I'm tired of him. He keeps coming up in this. He's almost a public interest story at this point.
I keep on trying to. Are you talking about Bauer or are you talking about Cohen?
No, now I'm talking about Bauer. But
okay. I keep on getting Cohen I keep on responding to him on Twitter. I want him to answer me.
I have no idea what's going on.
Steve Cohen is the new owner of the Mets.
That's where the sunglasses come in handy, John. I've been sleeping for the last 5 minutes.
Steve Cohen is a rich upon rich billionaire in the financial space, bought the Mets, and has essentially been controversial ever since he took over.
Yeah, all these idiot rich people buy sports teams.
Well, what do they pay him? $40 million a year too?
That's okay. He's worth every penny.
At 37 years old,
27 innings pitched, 11 hits. What do you think?
Well, I'm a Yankee fan.
Oh, 33 strikeouts too. And 33 strikeouts too.
All right, we'll move on.
And 3-0. And 3-0.
We'll move on from the baseball because that doesn't seem to be
7 shutout innings last night. I'm just going to say.
All right, we'll move on to the story that everyone was jokingly talking about. Kris Jenner is facing backlash for being rude to her driver. Coincidence or just normal?
Normal. Totally normal.
For her, it's normal.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it depends on who you're driving. I mean, like Craig is a driver. I drove limousines for
the background of the story, Mike, is she asked the driver to pull over and get out of the car because she had to have a phone call with one of her kids.
Right.
And then when he got out, she asked him to roll up the window. And he went to the back and opened the trunk to get something, and she demanded he close the trunk.
She didn't ask at all. She ordered him.
She ordered. Yeah, I shouldn't say asked, but ordered him like he was a slave.
Who was filming this?
I don't know if anyone filming
for the show. They're filming for the show.
Well, it's not on TV anymore. It's now on Hulu, I think. It's on now.
But so what I realized, listen, when you deal with celebrities, you deal with anybody. I've done a lot of TV shows, and the week I'm working on the show, you'll see these headlines, and you'll see like Inquire, well, how they hate each other, they can't stand. And meanwhile, I'm there on set with these people, and you see them, they couldn't be closer, they couldn't. So there's a lot of, but this was on camera. This is it's you can catch anybody on a bad day. Anybody can be. You're going to tell me that you've never been an asshole.
Look at my daughter and her fiance, Ralph, right? Yeah. Ralph's like one of the biggest actors in England, and he shoots that show in Guadeloupe for 5 months a year, and he gets 2 weeks off in the middle of it. And my daughter and him went to St. Martin for 2 weeks. Headlines in the paper in England, front page.
Yeah.
Ralph Little leaves set without the BBC permission to spend time with his fiance.
What?
And meanwhile, they gave him the tickets, the reservations in the hotel.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not saying that it's cool for her to, be abusive to the driver or anything like that. But I mean, everyone has a bad day. Everyone now, she's paying for the privilege too. I mean, she's obviously that guy is probably making plenty of money to drive them around.
It's like an Uber. It was like an Uber or something. It wasn't her driver.
Was it an Uber?
As an Uber,
then as an Uber driver, he could have told her, "Get the hell out of my car."
Exactly.
That's the thing. As an Uber driver, I get generally 3 types of riders. I get the silent rider. They'll go, "How you doing?" "Hi," and that's it. And you drive, "Bye, thank you."
Do they get white paint all over the car?
You get a lot of white
lines.
Well, wait a minute. There's another part.
You get the one who wants to talk, and that's great ride. And you get the people who treat you like shit, who treat you like you're their servant, who come in, they don't make eye contact, they bark orders, they don't say please, and those people I really want to slam on the brakes and see their head hit the seat in front of them.
Have you ever kicked someone out of an Uber?
Yeah, I kicked the guy out for not wearing a mask, but it was, he wouldn't wear a mask.
You know what you got to do, Craig? You got to do like the Bill Murray in Stripes. You know what I mean? Just turn around and go, "I just wish I hadn't drunk all that cough syrup this morning." Ooh, we'll be there in a minute. Don't worry about it. Ooh, the colors, man.
I told you when the mask mandate was on and they didn't put the mask on, you should have just started coughing heavy and hung the IV bag right on the hook.
My favorite was when I was at the height of the pandemic, going back and forth to the radio station, and they on the Uber app. Like, they literally have you checking the option now for the mask.
And people still claim, "Oh, I didn't see that."
Right. So all of a sudden, I was waiting a long time. And then all of a sudden I get an alert on my phone that says, "You're not wearing a mask." And it's clearly on my face. Clearly. And they decided to check, and they canceled my ride because of it.
Yes.
Then your driver's
I think sometimes they're full of shit. I was in Manhattan one time, and the same thing. We called for a Uber. They said, "What corner?" Because we was one busy area by the Museum of Natural History. So we gave the corner and everything, and we get a thing that says we weren't there, which is bullshit. I think sometimes the drivers just either can't find you or whatever. They make up some little bullshit excuse.
If it's a short ride, if it's something they don't want to pick up, if it's an area they don't want, they'll make an excuse and do that. And I hear that all the time.
It's not only that. If they use that option to say you weren't there, you're forced to pay part of the fee.
Right.
You do that.
Yeah, it's a couple of dollars, but you can dispute that too and just say they were live.
I had to dispute it because they tried to charge me for the ride, saying I wasn't wearing a mask.
I got somebody told me I didn't have a mask. Unfortunately, I have a dash cam. I said it was, I won't say which rideshare company because I drive for both. And I basically just emailed them. Yeah, I have a video of the entire ride of me wearing a mask. Should I send it to you? They didn't even ask for it. They just canceled the complaint.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can see Kris Jenner. She's entitled. She's rich. She's famous. Well, I can definitely see her.
She's entitled to what? She's a piece of shit.
She's entitled because she's rich and she thinks
she's entitled to nothing. She's accomplished.
No. When he says she's entitled, he doesn't mean that she is entitled. She acts.
She acts entitled, and she probably like shut the door. Slow down.
You realize.
Turn off the air conditioning.
You realize they're only famous because of the goddamn OJ case. I mean, that's what we're talking about here.
And the porn tape that what's her name made,
Kim with Ray J.
Yeah.
So
we can see your tonsils through your vagina. That's great.
Wow.
Wow, let's make her famous. But you know what I love now? They're like these idols to generations of. It's like now they're trying to do all this good work, this positive work. So it's like
Kim's a lawyer. You didn't know?
Yeah, give me a break. It's like they do all this scummy shit and they go, "Oh yeah, here's a few dollars, and now we're legitimate. Now we're helping people, but it doesn't matter how we got here."
It's funny though because like I think Courtney runs a health and fitness company. Kim's a lawyer and runs that stupid Skims company that she has.
I've never seen an episode of that show.
Who would ever go to her as an attorney?
I would. People who love her, they would.
No, well,
really,
she's actually taking up those hard luck cases where people were thrown in jail and she thinks that they shouldn't be in jail. It's those cases she takes.
I'd let her handle my briefs.
Who would vote? If you're on TV and you have millions of views, you have millions of people who would love to go to her. Are you kidding me? Of course they would.
By the way, they're the biggest load of shit because when they ended on the E Network for all those years and they did this whole dramatic thing that they were leaving TV and they were going away, we knew they weren't going away. We knew they were going somewhere.
No, they're like herpes. They don't go away.
Wow. But I don't know. And then her daughter, Chloe, actually corrected her on the phone. That's the other part of the story. So I'm looking. She said, "You're yelling at the fucking guy," but Kris cut her off again by screaming, "Close the trunk."
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't get the family.
Yeah. First of all, it's my car. I'll do what I want.
Unfortunately or unfortunately, sooner or later, someday, no matter how much money she has, she will say the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time, and she will learn a life lesson that she should have learned as a little kid.
But it's funny, though. It says that it was during one of the Hulu episodes, so you know that she's not dumb. She probably did it looking for attention.
Filming it. Yeah.
Don't you think that after a certain amount of time and all the thousands of hours they stand there with somebody with a camera in their face, at one point you let your guard down? Of course.
No, they don't. They want as much money and as much attention as they could possibly get.
Well, this got a lot of publicity for them. I didn't even know they were on Hulu until this happened. So maybe.
Well, then recently they were all into it. And recently, Kim, Craig's still talking. I think he froze. Kim, didn't she have the whole thing where she told women they don't work hard, get out there and work?
Yes.
It's like you're telling women who kill them with 2-3 job raising kids on their own and you privileged piece of shit. You're going to tell women they don't work.
She
hard
got
enough?
shit for that.
She deserves shit for that.
Of course, she deserves shit. It was awful. She wants people to feel bad for her that she does all this work and all this stuff. Give me a break. The whole family's a joke. They've been on TV for 20 years or something.
Yeah, because Daddy defended a murderer.
That's how they became famous, and now they're famous on their own. Unfortunately, they do all these dumb videos where they're in bikinis half the time walking around.
Didn't they fire Kardashian? Is that what happened? Didn't Kardashian get fired and they brought in somebody else? Yeah,
he was actually OJ's friend, right?
Right.
Yeah, they were friends. Yeah,
they were friends.
There was a rumor for the longest time that he was the father of the daughters. That was a rumor that was going around also that I was reading. I was like,
hey, no, he'd be dead too.
Oh, jeez.
If the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
How about OJ weighing in on the Will Smith thing?
That was hilarious.
I would have stabbed him myself.
He goes, sometimes vengeance gets the best of you.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Sometimes you get a little angry and you accidentally stab somebody 40 or 50 times. It's
his lawyer's just going, just shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
And OJ was hanging out with his favorite rock and roller at the time too, which is pretty funny.
All right.
You think wearing gloves not to leave fingerprints is a good thing, but then they find the glove and theoretically speaking,
All right, we'll do one more story, and I guess we know everyone loves this story. I don't either, but Joe Rogan claims massive subscriber boost.
Hey, we didn't get to the best story, the gold smuggler.
Oh, I have that here. What is that? I do have one more story after this. My bad. Okay, we'll do this one first. Joe Rogan claims massive subscriber boost due to recent controversies. Now, I can't stand him. He's in my business, unfortunately. I can't stand him. What do you think?
When I worked with him, he was a great guy. I don't know what happened to this guy. Maybe it's power, fame. I
think it's power and fame. I think you do the things you do. Now, the more these days we live in a world that the more controversy you create, the more famous you get, the more money you make. And I don't think Joe Rogan is exempt from that. And I don't know if he believes the things he says. I don't, but I do believe that there's a massive subscriber booster. I mean,
I heard that he lost 4 million viewers during it, and now he's got 2 million back. But he just says, "Yeah, I got 2 billion viewers, a boost."
It's like a stock.
You guys are different. I've always known him, and I always thought he was an asshole. He was an asshole to all us comics. Started.
He was never an asshole to me, and maybe it's because I'm,
I don't know.
Maybe
I was in the dressing room one night where someone threw him through a wall.
Oh,
really?
Really?
Rogan came in. We had been in the business 5 years, and Rogan walked in the room and said to Jim Myers, how long you been in the business? And Jim goes, about 4 or 5 years. He goes, I've been in the business 6 months, and I already got a show. What is wrong with you people?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
It's the way to
Joe,
make friends.
Joe, if you're listening, I need a job, Joe. I need a job.
It's the way to make friends.
What is the name of that book? How to Make Friends and
Influence people.
Influence people.
You know, it's really weird. When I worked with Joe, I had to drive upstate to a gig where he was headlining, and it was a 2-man show. And I was late, and I called ahead and said, I'm going to be there just about showtime. And I ran in, and Joe was ready there to give me his intro. And I go, Joe, sorry I was late. He goes, Craig Mitchell, the funniest man no one's heard about yet.
Oh,
It was one of the nicest things he ever said to me.
But that is a compliment, though, because you weren't famous.
Yes.
Nobody knew who you were. He was saying you're funny, but nobody knows who you are.
That's right. And I thought that was a really nice thing for him to say. And I got his intro, and that's my impression of him.
How am I going to get mad at him? He was having people drinking ivermectin and doing all that stuff. He was getting rid of these morons. It's time to thin the herd. It's like, I'm like, dude, yeah, mix it with a little vodka, ivermectin. It'll get rid of COVID-19 like that. We don't need these people that believe that shit. Let them drink it and die.
I don't know what was funnier, that or when he went after CNN when he had Sanjay Gupta on the podcast. that was a funny instance because he's just literally like dressing down Gupta during the podcast.
Right? Who's a doctor?
Yeah,
Isn't Sanjay Gupta a doctor?
Yeah.
He's a
Dr.
doctor.
Sanjay
He's a neurologist.
and he's also the CNN.
He's a neurologist
medical
and
guy.
an infectious disease doctor.
Yeah, whatever. Like I said, I don't get emotional about all. It's like, you know what? I'm not in charge. I got no power in nothing, man. Joe Rogan making hundreds of millions of dollars. If they gave me hundreds of millions of dollars to do the stupid stuff he does, I'm gonna do it. I'm a sellout. I'm gonna friggin' collect the money and run.
But you're not going to mislead people into taking horse dewormer, are you?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Oh shoot!
No,
Corrected.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't if I didn't honestly believe that it was something that would help people. No, I wouldn't do that.
Then
Well,
that's where you're different from him right there. Then
But how do you know he doesn't honestly believe that shit would help people?
He does. I think partially Rogan does things because he's a fraud and he'll do anything to get attention for himself. I think he'll just say dumb opinions just for the sake of it.
Well, I mean, I had respect for him. I remember when he called out
Works
Carlos
for
Mencia.
Hannity,
You remember when he
it worked for
called out
Rush
Carlos
Limbaugh.
Mencia?
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the beginning of when he really started to build a fame, because it's like some people just need to be called out for the bullshit. Unfortunately, now it's Joe who needs to be called out for some of the bullshit. But like I said, I think he truly believes this stuff. Now, what you need to do is find out why does he believe this stuff? Why does he? But half the country is brainwashed into believing shit that is just so.
Well, Spotify removed a bunch of episodes because of that whole thing.
Right.
So I don't know. He got mad and where's my episodes? Well, when you say things that are a danger to the world, they're going to be removed. And by the way, who wants to listen to a 4-hour podcast anyway?
Yeah. Well, and the thing to remember too with a guy like Rogan, these guys, they make so much money. They're not in the public anymore. They are removed from reality. There are a lot of people who are in the job of giving information that are not living in reality.
I know several celebrities, and they're all removed from reality. They can't connect with somebody who's just churning, shucking and jiving to make a living. They can't connect. So yeah.
Well, that's a problem with Trump. Back to him. He doesn't know how normal people live.
No, he hasn't got a clue. But Trump, I believe, is an empty suit. I believe Trump, if you sit down with him and you're talking about something that's opposite what he's been, I believe he'll sit there and he'll take on the view that you want to hear. He's like a chameleon. He'll mold himself to whatever he's talking to.
Whatever puts money in his pockets.
Right.
And that's the problem with Ron DeSantis. Because Ron DeSantis is Trump only educated.
Yeah.
Can we call him Floor Santis?
No, I call him Death Santis.
Oh, that works too.
Death sentence.
Welcome.
That works.
And John lives in Florida. You think it's only that county? All Floridians are going to get their taxes raised because of him, because it's going to cost $2 billion or over for.
Well, you realize that there's a clause in that thing with Disney that says
there ain't no sanity clause.
No, they're based on a vote of the majority of the population.
Right.
The majority of the population in that area are Disney is Disney. So they're going to
175,000 Disney employees.
What?
down.
Well, DeSantis is trying to divert attention from the fact that he lost. How many billions did he lose in the retirement of teachers?
A lot.
Pension fund. So this is all just, hey, look over here. There's something shiny
It's
here.
also to take
that's a Trump
thing away from, the other thing that the critical race theory bill that he's putting. He's just an idiot.
Well, also, what was this other bill that was going around in Florida? Also, the gender bill or whatever they were trying to pass.
That's part of what the Disney thing is
don't
about.
say. Is that what? Don't say.
Gay don't say gay bill.
Yeah. So the don't say gay bill is this. It's like, so my girlfriend is a literary coach for the district, and she has a daughter that's gay, and she has like a rainbow thing on her patch, which means if you're gay and you're having problems and you want someone to talk to, she's like a safe place. You can go to talk to her. Well, DeSantis says now there is no safe place. It would be her responsibility to call the kid's parents. And if she didn't, she could be fined $100,000.
That's insane. That's insane.
And that's what started the whole thing with Disney.
His big thing on this critical race theory too is like, it's only kids through K through 3 or whatever the hell. And it's like, first of all, it's a made up bullshit story because there is no schools teaching critical race theory at that level. It's a college. It's what, I'm sorry, but it's what freaking Republicans do these days. They make up a phony story, and then it's like they get everyone all upset, like it's real. And then we gotta stop it.
Yeah,
they're coming for our guns.
9 months. That they go. Who gets an abortion at 9 months?
So being the literary coach of the district, she has to look at these books. So she got these books, and she's wondering what's going on because there's 10 pages missing.
Oh,
and then they went in the room, and these teachers are ripping out these 10 pages by order of the district.
Yeah.
And it was a math book. And I cannot think of her name, and I apologize. That woman that wrote, she was a very famous slave, and she wrote a book.
Tubman?
No, I forget what it is. But when I just know this because the first day I moved to Florida, I got a call to go pick up my kids because the Ku Klux Klan was coming to protest this book. And I live where NASA is. Okay, this is not redneck Florida, and they never showed up. But in this math book, it has her name, and it says blah blah blah. Went to the store and bought this and this. She bought 4 packages of groceries. On the way home, she gave one to a friend. Like that kind of thing. But since her name is in the book, he banned that book.
Oh.
It's just bullshit.
This is like Nazi Germany.
What is it? Wait a minute. Is this like the Dr. Seuss bullshit where they're pulling all the books and everything?
Yeah. It's like,
I don't get it. Like, let people read what they want to read, and if they don't want to read it, don't read it. I mean,
and the Dr. Seuss thing has some. It's not the book; it's the actual illustrations.
Which it's all bullshit because at the time that was socially accepted. You could not have been more, kind of like bringing people together or whatever the word would be than Dr. Seuss, that was his main mission in life, was understanding each other, loving each other. If he would have thought for a second that the illustrations would hurt somebody, he probably would have went down and ripped them out himself. But let's start with the
fact that in a Dr. Seuss book, there wasn't one thing that wasn't a cartoon person.
Right.
There was no real people. There was no, you know what I mean?
I feel like
thing 2, and
But you see today, no, I can understand. I've seen some of the drawings, and yes, they it does show people, and if you draw them today, yes, I could see why they would be banned today, but you have to take into account the time when they were, I mean, whatever. It's like, you can't go back and change history. That it was so.
Well, what about the fact that Ted Cruz read Dr. Seuss for 10 hours during the Tea Party thing?
Yeah, that was very bizarre in a lot of ways. That was very bizarre
because that's the only thing he can read.
Exactly.
The only thing you can read is the back of the Yellow Pages.
It's got pictures, yeah.
But I don't know. I think people.
Craig, you had asked. You said what woman has an abortion at 9 months? They all do. It's called birth.
Yeah, but Trump actually, we have footage of Trump saying that the Democrats are pushing for people to have abortions at 9 months. Nobody has a full-term abortion. What the hell is where do you make that up from, and why do people believe it?
Well, because let's think about the beginning when Trump first started talking. What did he always say? He goes, many people say to me, lots of people say to me,
most
it's
people
just full of shit. Probably if anyone ever said anything to him, it says, thousands, millions of people say
I
to me.
hear from certain people.
Yeah, I hear.
know,
There's never
sources.
who and where'd you hear it and what. I heard it. Yeah, you heard it from Don Jr. maybe or whatever.
Yeah, but he says it, and his rabble believe it.
Well, that's the problem. That's how the whole insurrection nonsense happened, where basically he said something and everyone came running to the.
And that's what's happening in Florida right now with death sentence.
Right. I mean,
the problem is, it's funny is the people. I just read this poll in the Florida paper. It's about 50 at 40-60. About 60% of the people support Ron. At this point, this is before this whole Disney thing happened, where he's getting the big support, which is scary, is around the country because they don't live here and they don't know everything. They just know him as this guy that didn't have a mask mandate for Florida, the guy that kept Florida open.
Right, the talking points.
Yeah, that's what they know, and people, the Republicans like him.
Well, he's going to run. I don't hate Trumpers. I mean, the truth is that I'm not mad at them. I understand it. They're angry. The thing is that they've latched on to people who have stoked their anger, done their anger. I don't believe a lot. Yes, the ones that are pure racists and whatever, they're bad people. But a lot of them aren't that. They're just angry people, and that's why they want to express that anger in a way. And these people have found a way to tap into it and let them express it.
And that's why they want to ban books, because they can't read.
And the worst thing about this bill, the Don't Say Gay bill, is that, I can tell you, growing up in the late 60s, early 70s, and realizing who I was, my number one fear that terrified me is anybody finding out my secret, finding out that I was gay. Finding that out, and the thing is that, imagine somebody finding out, and now they have to tell your parents.
I know.
That's where suicide is a viable option.
Yes,
and that's what the teachers are saying. They're saying right now that this is a child care thing.
It is, but you know what? You got to be grateful too, because there are a lot of people out there saying about acceptance of gay, that whole community. And that's good, because they're not only getting the negative message, but let's hope and pray that a child who, like Craig, was terrified, doesn't have to be terrified. I hope they see that there is acceptance and love, and it's only a group of
Like
I didn't come out till I was 51. I mean, I lived in fear for 51 years until I said F it. And and these kids don't deserve that. And I know the fear. I know what they're afraid of.
But when you were growing up, though, there wasn't the acceptance.
I know.
I saw a thing yesterday on Facebook, which I don't go on Facebook much anymore, but it was this LGBT thing, and it said, "I'd rather think of myself as the rainbow sheep of the family." Isn't that great?
Wow.
I personally could never understand anyone who was coming out against any kind of, the whole homosexual community, the whole gay, whatever it is. Who cares? I don't give a shit who you love and what you do. That's your business. It does not affect me at all. It's it's a fear. And what I personally think, it's fear of, people are afraid of their own latent homosexual.
Yeah.
Well, they're also believe that it's evil and that it's against God, and they're going to go after your children.
Not according to the Pope. Not according to the new Pope.
Have you seen that painting with God putting fingers with Adam on that? Come on, you see the way they're gazing at each other?
I mean, the new Pope doesn't think there's anything wrong with being gay.
No, and you got to be grateful for it. Even the church is getting progressive.
I think people just need to relax. I think the pandemic has caused people to overthink everything, and people get all fucked up in their mind because they think that their opinions matter over other people.
Well, the other thing too is I read an article that is so true. They were saying that when the GOP had Sarah Palin run with John McCain, that was the start of the dumbness. I mean, literally the start of the dumbing up
No.
Absolutely.
That
No.
opened up.
You want to know when the dumbness started? Reality TV.
Well, we're saying with
I agree with
candidates that they choose.
Yes, okay,
The
yes.
Josh,
In politics,
the
you're
Josh
right.
Hollies, the Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Have you seen that movie yet?
No, what movie?
It's called Game Change.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah,
It's about Sarah Palin. It's written by the guy who was McLean's what do you call it? Election manager. What do you call that?
Campaign
manager.
It was written by him, Schmidt. It was written by him about their experiences with Sarah Palin. It's mind-boggling. You got to see
The
that.
day stupid
Where is
became
that?
okay.
It's on HBO Max. You can get it. You can just search
I
it.
will watch that.
Game
Just
Changer.
that
It's
you
a
guys
great
know
movie.
that movie I told you about has nothing to do with what we're talking about now. The Lighthouse is on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. This show
On
brought to you
Netflix.
by Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Are we getting a bump?
I just canceled
Are
my
we getting a
Netflix.
bump to mention Netflix?
I wish.
I just canceled.
But Netflix is down like 40% in stock or whatever. It's crazy. Because they're cracking down. We talked about this last week. They're cracking down on people sharing passwords.
Yeah.
But all right, let's do one more story because I saved the best.
How do they crack down on that?
So they literally are putting in like an algorithm and the service and all this stuff, and now they're going to track where
Sweet.
people are using.
Gold smuggler had
Your
40,000
privacy.
of gold hidden under his wig and inside his rectum, was arrested by customs. Oh man, you talk about Goldfinger.
Goldfinger.
Hey,
That would be his proctologist, I
Yeah,
think. Would be
Gold-
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger me. Come in, Goldfinger me.
It's funny
Wow.
because the one they're taking out of his wig was in a pouch, but it looked to me like he had a piece of gold molded to the top of his head.
It looked like one of those butter packets in the old
Does-
popcorn boxes.
Does gold set off the metal detectors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did
In
he
liquid
think?
form?
They weren't going to look up his ass. I
I
mean,
don't know.
come on, man. Are you kidding? When I haven't been laid for a while, I book a plane flight just so I can have the TSA because they just check. I'll put like put some coins in my shorts. Well, you better check a little more.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
might
maybe
be
I did-
something there. I don't know.
A roll of quarters fits better. Oh wait, on your ass or never mind.
they had to take that. They had to take that guy's wig off, and they had to cut it out of his.
They
wig.
literally had to like cut it like a surgery
Yeah.
almost.
The question is, why do you have to smuggle gold? Why not just carry it? It's not illegal. Is it illegal
Yeah,
to
that's
carry
because you're
gold?
bringing in more than $10,000 worth of.
Yeah, 40 grand.
I thought allegedly he stole it.
No, he was.
I
Just,
thought that's.
is
You'd
that
have
what
to
it said?
declare it, and you'd have to declare it.
Yeah,
What I
but
want to know
declare
is
it.
how did they find it? Did the dog smelt it? Hey, the dog. The dog
He did
smelt
a
it.
thing.
Yeah, it says he smuggled it. So I thought that meant he. was
No,
trying-
he just brought it in. I mean, you're not allowed to bring in any more than $10,000.
Maybe he just like
It was
gold
caught
up
by
his
the
ass.
golden retriever.
Oh, you foe!
Hey, maybe
I mean,
he just like gold up his ass. I don't know.
I have a picture of it here, which is kind of disturbing.
Golden ass.
I mean,
put it-
normally you
film.
get you have nuts there. You get some, but
Here, let me
gold.
see if I. Here we go. This is what it looks like.
Oh,
It looks
You know
like you're
what?
removing a pancake.
trust me, he didn't get arrested for the gold. He got arrested for wearing a bad wig.
It looks like it's his brain, not the gold, doesn't
I
it?
know.
Yeah, really.
I mean, some of these are disturbing, but anyway,
Oh,
It's
Just-
so funny.
I
Because
thought you
people
guys would love
smuggling
this.
anything. I was telling on our show that I read a story about a guy who smuggled in like over 100 monkeys in his pants from Africa.
how do you get 100 monkeys in your pants? How big
Yeah,
are these
why-
pants?
Why smuggle them? You can get them from the back of a comic book for like $17.95. That's where I'm getting my
No,
monkeys.
what I was saying though, it's so weird. It's not like it's a flight from Orlando to Miami. It was from Africa.
Wait.
So
So monkeys
Yeah.
in his pants, right?
he
First
put
of all,
him- the
that's a
little
no-go.
baby
They like to
monkeys.
swing. They like to swing. So no,
They're
not
li-
doing that.
They're little monkeys, and he put them in like toilet paper tubes
What?
and put
Okay.
them all in his body. And then after that, we found another story about the guy that smuggled in like 100 parakeets in his
Jesus.
pants.
Jeez, it
You happy to
sounds like,
see me, or is that 100 monkeys in your pants?
The guy
hey,
with
are
the
you just
monkeys,
happy to see me? There you
Did
go.
all the monkeys survive?
No.
Oh,
No.
that sucks. It
No.
sucks. Man.
I hope the parents didn't think it was a cracker down below.
So
There was
means-
one that was
No.
curious. His name was George.
So that means
Hey!
some woman's going to take her hand and she's going to super glue it to a plane in protest now.
What were the bird? They weren't parrots, John. They were cockatoos.
Hey, and that's right out of my act.
Hey,
Oh, that was good.
hey, I've had a cockatoo.
Remember that when I did the balloon penis? I was making the dog and turns into the balloon penises. And I handed the woman,
I don't remember what I ate for
and you go like this.
breakfast,
I go, I'll make you any animal you want. And I go like this, and it pops, and it looks like 2 balloon penises. And I go, oh, I'm sorry, it's a cockatoo.
That kind of reminds me of that stupid thing that Howie Mandel used to do with the glove,
Oh my god.
which I can't stand. I never understood. I interviewed him before on a show. Nice guy, but I don't understand why he did that in his act for so many years. I don't get it.
Who I didn't
Because
know
the crowd
was
responded to
different.
it.
Who are
The
you
crowd
talking about?
responded to it. Howie Mandel used to put a
Sometimes-
surgical glove over his head and over his nose, and he would blow it up. And
Yeah.
it was stupid, but the crowd loved it.
And sometimes you get stuck with something that becomes your trademark, like me and that stupid freaking meat cleaver.
That's like Dice. I used to freaking I opened for Dice a few times, and when you hang out, no matter what, if he wrote new stuff, which he never, whatever. But even if he did, they always scream for they want to hear the same old thing over and over again.
Dice is an interesting guy too.
He's a very interesting guy. He's a very nice guy,
A
actually.
really nice guy.
I heard he got a bad rap because like he got involved with the Stern Show and all that stuff, and at least from what I heard.
He's
He
not even
got screwed up.
He's
He
not
got
even
screwed up.
Italian. He's Jewish.
He's Jewish. His name is Andrew Silverstein.
Andy Silverstein.
Yeah.
Damn.
And he, when he first started in comedy, he did some pretty bad stand-up, and then went into that Grease-like character at the end of his show to sing Grease Lightning.
Yeah. His cousin Dice.
What is that? His trademark was what, the cigarette and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
Oh, little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet
Yeah, and,
eating her words and her whatever.
and he
the
stole all the nursery rhymes from Otto and George.
That's the rumor. That's what people say.
I just heard
It is.
Otto and George on Sirius FM. It's hilarious.
What I want to know is when George died, what happened to Otto?
Yeah, I want to know that too.
Otto and George, in case you don't know, is a man and a dummy.
What happened?
Oh no,
I
I know.
don't-
I know who they are. Yeah.
What happened?
They
to
were on
the
one of the
puppet?
talent shows.
Yeah, what
Is that
happened
what
to
you
the
said?
puppet? Did they bury it with him?
No. You don't know this?
What?
No.
David Copperfield bought it for $400,000 for his
What?
collection.
What?
And it's
I didn't
and
know that.
Oh yeah. And it's in his museum.
He has George?
Yeah, he has George. He
The original
has,
one where the head went back
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
Kennedy.
yeah.
with the
Kennedy
Kennedy
shot.
Yeah.
yeah, he had he was a big fan, and when he used to play Otto and George stuff for his crew while they were setting up,
Oh my God.
and he was a big Otto fan.
Wow.
When he died, he figured his family or whatever needed money.
I
So he said he didn't even negotiate it. So I'll give you $400,000 for the puppet.
I just remember
Yeah,
I was a
I-
regular at Dangerfields in Manhattan, and I just remember when he'd go up, all the comics would just sit in the back because you just it just funny. You just fall off the chair when he was on the stage.
I remember being at Dangerfields once, and it was a prom show, and it was one continuous show, but nobody was leaving.
Right.
And Bobby looked at Otto and goes, "Otto, go up and punish them." And he went up there, and for 45 minutes just said cock until the people just got up and left in droves. And he goes, "Watch this." So there was 4 people left that wouldn't leave. So he got off the stage, sat at their table, and just kept looking at him, saying the same thing, and they wouldn't leave. And he walks off stage, and he goes up to Bobby, he goes, "I'm sorry, Bobby. I did everything I could to get those 4 people to leave. They just wouldn't." And Bobby gives him a big bear hug and goes, "It's okay, Otto. Nice job." He walked 300 people.
Overdose? Did he die of an overdose, Otto?
Yeah, probably.
Either that or the dummy killed him.
Probably.
Because he was young, man. He was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was a junkie.
Bobby was a character. I just remember, you'd be in Dangerfields, and Bobby was the doorman, maitre d', whatever. And so it's like, if he liked you, he loved you, and if he didn't like you, you'd be on stage, and you could hear from the one room into the other when the comic was on. And if he didn't like the comic on, he would just he'd yell out right in the middle of his set, "You fucking worthless sack of shit tight in the middle, yard! Get the fuck off my stage!" Yeah.
How many times you heard this story? But he hated that comic from Long Island. And he walks into
That really narrows it down.
I'm
That's
trying
a lot
to think of Dan Sheehan.
Oh, Dan.
So he walks up. Dan walks up and goes, "You know, Bobby, every time I'm here, it's okay, Danny boy. Tell me your problems." He goes, "The reason why I don't do well is because you give me a crappy introduction." "I'm sorry. What would you like me to say?" And he takes a little pad. He goes, "Just say I've been doing colleges all across the country. You're headlining. Very good." He goes, "I'm going to be on comic strip." "Oh, television. Very nice. Comic strip live. When would that be in?" And he goes to the whole big list, and he goes, and he goes, "And a funny guy. I can add that too, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, that would be great." And he goes, "Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Sheehan."
He was a character, man.
And then he comes off stage and he goes up to Bobby and he goes, "That's what I'm talking about, Bobby." He goes, "You don't give me any respect. You didn't even read my intro." And he puts his arm and he goes, "It's like this, Danny, my boy. No one cares where you've been because you're fucking going nowhere." Wow.
Have we gone like a half an hour on your show already?
Yeah, we're like 2 hours.
Yeah, we're done. We can finish up here. But before we go, just want to make sure everyone knows where to find the show. It's now part of the Empty the Bench podcast network. If people if you want to just share your social media so people can find you as well.
Watch the show, enjoy the show, like the show, make a comment. Don't make us come find you because we will.
He's not only a comedian, he's our bouncer.
You can find me on Twitter at OTC Craig M, or just Craig M. And you can find us also. The Big Bad Broadcast is at the BBB Radio Podcast on Twitter.
Yeah, don't worry about where I am, okay? You don't need to know.
You don't even know.
Plausible deniability. You don't want to know where I am.
Facebook, John Ferrentino on Facebook, John Ferrentino on TikTok, big TikTok follower. And again, on the website, www.thebbbbradio.com.
Yay.
And the Facebook entertainment page, the Big Bad Broadcast, and the Empty the Bench Network.
Although
part of it
as the resident of the state.
I got to get on TikTok. I'm an old geezer. I know every other social media except TikTok.
TikTok is a playground for the short attention span theater.
That's true. But anyway,
what'd you say, Craig? I wasn't listening.
Exactly.
Sure.
But anyway, guys, thanks for being on, and
no problem.
Hopefully we can do it again with the full group. Hopefully,
all right,
next time. So we'll sign off, and we'll see everybody next week. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Take care.